In this video, we'll take a look at what I carry in my Workbox. I'll leave links to everything I talk about in this video in the description below. Let's get started. The Pelican 1510 case is somewhat of an industry standard for a personal Workbox. It offers enough space for a good toolkit without being too bulky to take with you. It's big enough for a 15-inch laptop and everything else you'll need to feel prepared on the show site. The foam insert that comes with the case is not very good. The idea is that you're supposed to pluck these foam cubes out to make compartments for your equipment, and though this might work for making custom cases for larger pieces of equipment, it isn't ideal for a toolbox you'll be working out of. The foam quickly starts to tear and your stuff gets mixed up. The TrekPak Insert is a modular system that is fully customizable. I've tried several inserts for the Pelican 1510, and this is by far my favorite one. It's rugged, clean, and easy to configure and reconfigure the sections. I always carry a simple audio cable tester that has the ability to test XLR, TRS, and NL4. You can get them fairly cheap, so I'll usually go for a middle-of-the-road tester that looks well built. I've been happy with this one by DBX. A cable tester is a must, but the Qbox is even more powerful if you can carry one. It lets you generate tones and monitor inputs with the built-in speaker. You can plug it in at any point in your signal chain to test that you're getting signal to that point. This is really useful when you just want to verify or check what is coming out at a specific output or cable. Sound Tools makes some really cool stuff. This transmitter receiver XLR tester is one of my favorites. It's a two-piece tester, which makes it useful for testing long cable paths. You connect one part to the male end of the cable and the other to the female end of the cable. The LEDs on the device will tell you if your cable is wired correctly and what's crossed or disconnected if not. You can also quickly test continuity and patching by simply turning on phantom power. The LEDs at the end of this piece turn on whenever phantom power is engaged, so you can make sure that everything is properly connected. It's generally a good idea to carry a multimeter with you, and if you're dealing with three-phase power or feeder terminals, it's 100% necessary. Don't make the same mistake I did and buy a multimeter with an analog meter. I put a link to this one in the description below. It has a digital screen, and it isn't that much more expensive than a cheap analog meter like my old one. A 3.5mm to dual 1/4-inch adapter is something you'll use every show to connect your phone or laptop to the console to test the system. This can also be useful if you need to provide an auxiliary input on stage. Throw a DI box on this and you're set. The great thing about this adapter compared to the 3.5mm to XLR adapter is that this one will connect to the line inputs on smaller mixers, helping you to avoid accidentally destroying your device with phantom power. This is my favorite way to get auxiliary devices into the system. It turns any 3.5mm output into a balanced signal so you can place it anywhere you need without worrying about cable length or DI boxes. It also has a built-in level knob, which is good when you need to disconnect and reconnect a device without causing a pop in the speakers. I think it's perfect for on-stage aux inputs because it's easy for non-audio people to use, and it sums the stereo signal into a single channel so that only one XLR back to the mixer is required. I can't tell you how many times I've been saved by an XLR turnaround adapter like this one. Let's say you've run out of input or output channels on your Snake. Using an XLR female-to-female adapter on one end and an XLR male-to-male adapter on the other end will let you turn any input into an output or any output into an input. I carry at least 4 of each of them. I've also been saved on a number of occasions by XLR to 1/4-inch adapters. It's common for smaller consoles especially to have TRS outputs instead of XLR outputs. An XLR female to 1/4-inch adapter would allow you to connect an XLR line level output to a TRS input on a console, and an XLR male to 1/4-inch TRS adapter is useful when you need to connect a TRS output to an XLR input. You could also use one of these on each side of a long XLR cable and essentially have a long TRS cable. Of course, you'll want at least one XLR cable. The most important part is that these have Neutrik XLR connectors, which are more durable and much easier to repair. Make sure you get cables with Neutrik connectors, because there's nothing worse than the old school type with a tiny set screw like this one. Black gaff tape is essential for taping cables down that would otherwise present a tripping hazard. Bright colored gaff tape is really good for labeling snakeheads, fan-outs, and DI boxes. You might even find the different widths valuable, but get yourself at least one standard roll like this one. You'll definitely want to get a good brand here. ProGaff is the type I've used mostly, and I would highly recommend them. It's strong, easy to tear, and it won't leave sticky residue on the surface. You can never have enough Sharpies. You may even want to grab two 36 count boxes. Trust me, if you're anything like me, you'll lose them in no time. They're useful for labeling consoles, DI boxes, snakes, snakeheads, subsnakes, subsnakeheads, console fan-outs, and anything else you can imagine. Carry extras so that you can lend them out to others. You probably have a full microphone kit somewhere on the show site, but it's nice to have one of these with you just in case. The SM58 is an industry standard. They're virtually indestructible, so you're more likely to lose it than you are to break it. I might even recommend the SM58S, which has a built-in on-off switch. That way you can use it as a talkback microphone to the performers and crew on stage without the need to mute and unmute the channel on your console. I don't personally have the switched version because I've been using this cable by Sescom that has a built-in switch right here on the connector. An extra DI box is a good thing to have as well. You never know when you'll be one DI box short, and you'll be glad to have that extra one when the time comes. The Radial ProDI is rugged and reliable, but you can save some money and still get a reliable DI box with the Whirlwind Qbox. You can use it for keyboards and guitars, and it's also nice when you'll need to run a long cable for an aux input like a phone or laptop on the stage. You may have your preference for headphones, but I've been very happy with my Audio-Technica M50Xs, especially for live sound because they're so portable. I've been using these headphones since 2011 and recently bought a new pair just like them. Whichever headphones you choose, get a pair that has decent sound and decent isolation. That way, they can become your baseline reference for tuning and mixing. You can find every tool I talked about here in the description below this video. If you got value out of the video, hit the like button and watch the video that's on your screen now. I'll see you there.